I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into TNA Impact from August the 20th, 2026. This was an okay show. This was the go-home show to Sunday's Lockdown, and we are going to do predictions for Lockdown, even though Lockdown's been kind of a poor build. But I am sort of kind of excited for the event, and hopefully we'll get some new faces and some surprises. Because again, that's the problem with TNA. They just need talent, and that's really about it, right? They have okay storylines and stuff like that, so the only problem is that they just need talent. We are going to go over the ratings, as per usual. The ratings are in, and on the August 13th episode, which was last week, that drew in 203K and a 0.04 in the 18 to 49 demo. So pretty good, still decent. Not as good as the week prior, which was the 7th. Well, no, my bad, the 6th of August. And that drew 232K viewers. So it's just down by a little bit. It happens. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this episode here will do well. And then we know that we should be getting a live one of TNA, because we usually get at least one of those per month. Really and truthfully, we should be getting 3 or 4 of those a month. TNA should just go live. Again, I know they have a small roster, but they should be able to go live every single week, even with their roster being so thin. But hopefully things will pick up in due time. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So we kick the show off with Mustafa Ali in Order 4. So Mustafa Ali, he opens the show. He gives us a state of emergency. He says Jason Hodge stabbed him in the back. Mustafa Ali urged that Jason Hodge is not a good man. Mustafa Ali paid for all the toys of Hodge's daughter and the clothes on the body of Jason Hodge's wife. Nice little dig there. Mustafa Ali is the man of the Hodge household. So Ali then turned his attention to John Skyler and said that he arranged the match. It's going to be John Skyler versus Jason Hodge. And this is going to be an act of loyalty that Mustafa Ali accepts from John Skyler. So, that was the end of that segment. Then this leads us into a backstage segment involving Jason Hodge. He didn't want to take that match at all. Skyler is his best friend. So Daria Ray shows up. She interjected with threats of suspension or even stripping Jason Hodge of the international title. And she says, what the suit says goes. So I like that. Really good stuff there. I like it. Really good shit there. Moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. Rich Swann defeats Mr. Elegance. So this is fine. It is what it is. Doesn't really matter. So Rich Swann wins via his finisher. I think it's the handspring cutter that a lot of guys do now. It's a total spam move. It was cool years ago, but as of now, it's just a transition move. So Rich Swann wins. I think he also used to do the Phoenix Splash as well back in the day. But Unk, he got the win, basically. And the Righteous, they show up post-match. So I'm guessing they're trying to recruit BDE, which is fine. I do think maybe a heel turn would be really good for BDE. I really do. So maybe that happens, maybe. I don't know, but that's kind of interesting to see a heel BDE. I would be kind of intrigued if that were to happen. Moving on from that, this leads us into Jada Stone. She defeated Heather by elegance. So she advances in the Knockouts Television Championship semifinal. I do expect for her to win the title. She has now been my main pick. There's not really another pick because ever since the inception of this tournament, this was going to be a total babyface championship, which I'm fine with. This gives some of the girls something to do. And this is just a good move for Jada Stone. I like Jada Stone. I think she's in her early 20s. I think she might be like 23, 24, something like that. But she's really good. She's really good. She just needs a character under her belt. But other than that, she'll be fine. So good stuff there. And again, she's my pick to win the Knockouts tournament. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I think it's going to last probably till like September. So we got about a week and a half, 2 weeks left, and it should be over with. Moving on, this leads us into a split-screen interview involving Zaya Brookside and Elena Black. So they chatted on a video call. Elena Black had harmless fun at Brookside's expense because she needed a dose of humility. No more fun and games from Elena Black at Lockdown. Zaya Brookside is embarrassed for Elena Black. Despite her desperate cries for attention, anyone that claims to be the greatest knockout of all time without winning the title is lying to themselves. Elena Black shot back that she will prove it to be true at Lockdown. Zaya Brookside said she'll enjoy embarrassing Elena Black in her hometown in front of family and friends. And Zaya Brookside hung up, and then Elena Black muttered, "She can't wait to shut this bitch up." That's pretty cool there. I like this. This is fine. I do not expect for Zaya to lose at all. Why would she? Elena Black is basically on her way out unless she ends up resigning. I know her contract is only up with TNA for a year, so she'll be done in January of next year. So they don't really have a lot of time, but I don't think they're going to end up giving Zaya Brookside a short title reign. That'd be dumb. Like, you can't have a transitional reign as champion, right? So there's that. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Moving on from that, this leads us into lame ass. No, my bad. This leads us into the Elegance brand. So Mr. Elegance, well, the Elegance brand, they're basically shaking. Mr. Elegance undefeated streak is over, basically. I forgot to mention that, so there's that. It doesn't really matter. Heather failed to make it an Elegant final with M in the tournament. And the personal concierge, George Iceman, got them back on track with a pep talk to win the Knockout Tag Team Championships at Lockdown. Okay, that's fine, whatever. I don't really care about this. Where's Ash? Is she still out with injury or whatever? I don't know what the hell she's doing, but she's been gone for a while. So there's that. Moving on from that, this leads us into Brian Myers defeating Fabian Eichner. So the system, they get the team advantage for Lethal Lockdown. Who really cares? I expect for the system to lose, basically. They need to. So whatever. Because we all know that Brian Myers sucks ass. He sucks. He really does. Again, him, Moose, Eddie Edwards, Alisha Edwards, Frankie Kazarian, and others, they're bringing down TNA. It's time to bring in fresh blood, new blood. It really, truly is. It really, truly is. I'm not going to hold you on that. I'm being 1,000% true on that. Moving on from that, Harley Hudson, she was on this show. She spoke on a video call to Tracy Brooks. Hudson is scared of losing to Alisha Edwards, possibly being fired from TNA. So Tracy advises Harley Hudson to believe in herself, and she has the talent, the charisma, and the beauty to win in TNA. Hudson said that she can't let the fans down. She needs to be Alisha to keep her job. So we knew that this was going to happen anyway. This is fine, I guess. Maybe there's something there for Harley Hudson. She's only been in TNA for about a little over a year, almost a year and a half now, I think. I think they came in like some part of 2025. I'm not sure when. So, there's that. Moving on from that. This leads us into Jason Hodge versus John Skyler. So the other four, they get involved in everything else. So there's that. And they beat up Jason Hodge. So, yeah. Whatever. Moving on. This, actually, no. Mustafa Ali basically stands tall with the belt. So that means that he's definitely losing on Sunday. Whatever. Moving on. This leads us into a vignette for the righteous. So they have a message to deliver to BDE. They question if Rich Swann believes in BDE. Lockdown can be a doorway. The only thing standing in BDE's way is Rich Swann. BDE will have the opportunity to remove him to walk through the door with the righteous. Even if BDE resists, they'll teach him the lesson the hard way. All right, whatever. This is fine, I guess. Moving on. Harley Hudson defeats Alisha Edwards. Who really cares? Jada Stone comes out to make the save. So there's that. And Sonya Deville was on commentary for this thing, which is kind of fine. Kind of funny, but it's fine. All right, moving on from that main event of the evening, and I did not watch it. It was the Hardys and Moose and Elijah. They ended up defeating the Nemeth brothers, Ryan and Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and AJ Francis. Don't really care about this at all. The Hardys get the win. Matt and Jeff, they hit the Twist of Fate Swanton Bomb combo for the 1-2-3. There is that. Then, Cedric Alexander, he's laid out back, and that was it. So, it seems like this could be them bringing in the Wyatt Six. I think that needs to happen. So, yeah. I think the Wyatt Six should definitely come to TNA. They strike me as a TNA act. It's the same thing with Aleister Black, a.k.a. Malachi Black as well. I think he should come on in as well. I also think Sheamus should come on in as well. Because those guys can easily establish themselves as main event guys. Before we get into the predictions, Ilya Dragunov, he is no longer with WWE. He ended up not re-signing with them. And I could see him showing up in TNA as well. I know everybody wants to think that he should go to AEW. Really and truthfully, he shouldn't, right? Because if you look at it, people expected for both Mustafa Ali and Nick Nemeth to go to AEW when they got released and all that stuff. And the thing about that is, AEW can't keep everybody, and AEW is not going to really use these guys to their full potential. Sure, the money is there, but they're not going to do anything else for them outside of that. If I was Ilya Dragunov, he would be better off going to TNA and working the indies. Because he can easily be a main event guy, easily be world champion, and he'd be believable. I mean, Nick Nemeth needs opponents. He desperately needs opponents. Because we don't know if Leon Slater's going to stick around. He might stick around to maybe January. But after that, where do you go with Nick Nemeth? Like, who can I slot in for the main event scene? And I don't know who they could use. I mean, Trey Miguel, maybe. Let's see how things play out on that end. But there's that, man. There's that, I guess. So, whatever. Let's go ahead and get into predictions for Lockdown. So, Lockdown takes place in Chicago, Illinois. The venue is going to be at the Credit Union One Arena, and that seats basically 10,300 people for concerts. For boxing and wrestling, almost close to 10,000. It seats 9,500. And for basketball, 8,000. But we all know that's not going to happen at all. They're not going to get those numbers. I would imagine probably a decent 2,000 people would show up to Lockdown. Because Chicago is a smart mark town. And TNA usually does pretty well in Chicago. Always has been. So, yeah. There are 10 matches on the card, which is insane. But that means that we're getting 8 matches on the main show and 2 matches on the pre-show. So that's all. And every single match is going to take place inside of a steel cage, which is insane. So whatever. All right, let's go ahead and get into this thing. Let's start things off with Elijah versus AJ Francis, steel cage. Elijah is going to win this. Who really cares? I don't. Moving on, this leads us into Trey Miguel versus Agent Zero. That's going to be inside of a steel cage. I'm going to go with Trey Miguel winning. Why would he lose? He just got back. And after he's done with this, I think Trey Miguel needs to be higher on the card. Either go after the international title and still continue his feud with Mustafa Ali, or try to go after the world title. Casey Navarro did it. So, yeah. Moving on from that, The Righteous, Vincent and Dutch versus BDE and Rich Swann instead of a steel cage. I'm going to go with BDE and Rich Swann winning. It may be in due time we have BDE turn on Rich Swann, maybe. All right, moving on from that. Frankie Kazarian versus Moose. You win via escape the cage. I'm going to go with Moose winning. Who gives a shit about this? Moving on. The only match that is not a steel cage, well, actually, it is basically, but it's going to be a last man standing match inside of a steel cage. Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander. If Leon loses, his previous title reign will be erased from history. And this is going to be for the X Division Championship. I'm going to go with Leon Slater winning, and I think he'll end up doing option C at Victory Road in September. And it's probably going to end up being him versus Nick Namath at Bound for Glory. So, yeah. That should be fun. Moving on, Lethal Lockdown. The System. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, and Alisha Edwards versus Ricky Sosa, Fabian Aichner, Casey Navarro, and Jada Stone. I'm going to go with the babyfaces winning. Fuck the System. Once again, fuck the System. Moving on from that, this leads us into Elena Black versus Zaya Brookside inside of a steel cage for the Knockout Tour Championship. Zaya Brookside is going to win. Why would she lose? She just got it. She just won the title like a month ago. A month and a half ago. Why the hell would she lose? That makes no damn sense. So, yeah. I don't expect for her to lose at all. Moving on from that. This leads us into Jason Hotch versus Mustafa Ali. TNA International Championship. Jason Hotch could very well retain. I think that would make sense. And maybe that does happen. Because Mustafa Ali stood tall on the Go Home show. So maybe it does happen. Maybe they actually end up giving Jason Hotch a little run with the title. So, it is what it is. But the Order 4 faction needs to disband. It just needs to happen. Moving on from that, this leads us into Allie and Rosemary versus the Elegance brand. Em and Heather by Elegance. Steel cage, knockout toward tag team championships. I'm going to go with Allie and whoever her partner is going to be to retain. I don't know who. Her partner could end up being like Zelina Vega. I think that would make sense, kind of, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. So I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. Moving on from that, the Hardy Boyz versus the Nemeth brothers, Ryan and Nick Nemeth, for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. I'm going to go with the Hardys. Why would they lose? And I think this is where we're going to end up seeing the Wyatt Six show up in here. So that could be fun. Main event, well, I guess that's the main event of the evening, I guess. So, yeah, that's probably going to be the main event. So hopefully the Wyatt Six shows up. Maybe we'll see Zelina Vega show up and be the mystery partner for Rosemary. That would be fine. It could also be Wendy Chu from NXT maybe, but I really think that Zelina Vega should show up here. We also should see Aleister Black show up here as well. If he doesn't show up here on this show, he more than likely will probably show up on a live edition of TNA Impact. Again, I think Aleister Black would do great in TNA. Same thing with Sheamus. I feel like those two guys would fit TNA perfectly, because they both could be world championship guys, and that's what they should be doing instead of trying to go to AEW. Ilya Dragunov, I could see him coming in too, maybe, but I doubt it. They'll probably end up getting scooped up by AEW. So there's that. But TNA Impact this week was fun. The ratings were okay, and hopefully Lockdown is a good show, and hopefully we will get some surprises on that show. But what did you guys think of the show? And what are your predictions for Lockdown? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.